Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing yet another top 10, just going further into our top 10 series that we got going on right now with the 25k, 20k, now it's 15k, so the top 10 sports cars for under 15k. Then it's going to be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And within this whole series, I'm not going to use the same car twice. These are going to be all completely different cars, so that's going to be a total of 130 different cars that I think you should buy. So if you enjoy that, check out the other videos. They're just on my channel. They're in the top 10 playlist. If you want to look at that, you can see them. They're the most recent ones in the top 10 playlist. But also, if you guys are interested in the 350Z, stay to the end and I'll give you a little update on that. For right now though, let's get into the list. Alright, so number 10 is the Mark 7 Volkswagen Golf GTI, coming with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 that made 228 horsepower, and it was front-wheel drive, as is every single Volkswagen. And it's also a hatchback, as you can probably tell by the videos. It was also loaded with the best tech for their customers. I mean, this is the newest generation of GTI, so it has all the newest technology that you can need. Volkswagen has always been the people's car, and it really shows in their GTI lineup. Yes, they are a sports car, and they're a sports car first, but they have that commuter car feel to them right there. It's right freaking there. And if you're worried about how to work on a car, a GTI is a great choice, since there's hundreds and hundreds of people that own GTIs. GTI is a very popular car, and so you will never have to worry about learning how to work on it. There will be forums out there for you all over the place. Number 9 is the Nissan Skyline R32 GTS-T, not the GTR, so do not get those mixed up. The GTS-T is a lower power version. It's also rear-wheel drive and not all-wheel drive version of the GTR. But anyway, it came with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-6. I'm pretty sure it's called the SR20 Det, but with 1T, and it made 212 horsepower. So if you ever wanted a GTR, but you didn't have the funds to support a GTR, or you wanted to drift the GTR, the GTS-T is pretty much your best option. It's not the same car by no means, but it's pretty close, and it's as close as you're going to get to that GTR without spending GTR money. The R32 is my personal favorite generation of Skyline. I think it looks sexy, and the GTS-T is pretty much a step below the one that I want. So these cars are definitely not going to get cheaper though. So if you're in the market for one of these right now, buy it now. Don't wait. It won't get any cheaper. Number 8 is the Subaru WRX STi, not just the WRX Hawkeye, that came with a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline-4 that made 300 horsepower on the dot. And yes, it was all-wheel drive, of course, as is every single Subaru, especially the WRXs. But this gen, to me at least, is commonly overlooked. They always look at the blob eye generation, the generation before this, or the stink eye generation, the hatchback generation that was after this. But like, this generation is still pretty freaking sick. It's the one right in the middle, and it's a pretty damn good car. And you might even be able to find it for under 10k if you look really hard enough and you be really patient. But that's also probably, like, most likely you're probably just going to find the WRX, not the actual STi version, and we're talking about the STi version. So but anyway, the Subaru has been a great platform for years, and if you want to build but still be able to work, like drive it to work and back during the winter, then I highly recommend buying a WRX. Number 7 is the Titanic of cars, the Dodge Challenger SXT, coming with a 3.5 liter V6 making 305 horsepower, which to me is kind of funny considering I have a 350Z. And the 350Z had a 3.5 liter V6 that made 305 horsepower, but it weighed 600 less pounds than this car. Just putting it out there. But anyway, I know what all the comments are going to be like. Nobody wants a V6 Challenger, bro. Nobody wants a V6 Challenger. But unfortunately, if you don't have more than 15k, you're most likely going to have to buy a V6 Challenger. It's not going to be a V8. You can look and wait, but I recommend just waiting and saving your money than getting the V8 that you want. But this list isn't about the RT. The SXT still looks amazing. If you're going for looks and you really just want a show car, then the SXT is still a great choice. It's also a very good choice if you want a muscle car, but you aren't sure if you can handle the amount of horsepower that the Challenger SRT comes with. The SXT is a pretty damn good choice for that. Number 6 is the BMW M3 E36, coming with a 4.9 liter V8 that made 400 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive, of course. And just think about that for a second. You get a V8 BMW that made 400 horsepower back in the 90s. When this car was made, it was made in the 90s. that just proves that BMW really is the ultimate driving machine. That's crazy to me that they had pretty much a commuter car. Yes, it was more expensive than the commuter cars back then, but it's pretty much a commuter car. People drive it, beg a daily driver, that made 400 horsepower in a V8. In a German built car too. It's not like it's a V8 that's in an American built car that might fall apart. It's a German V8. If it looked amazing, it handled greatly, and went extremely fast. But if you're going for a good daily driver and reliable and cheap to maintain, that's the big one, then maybe this isn't the best choice for you. They're getting older and they are extremely rare, so I highly recommend not daily driving this car. Number 5 is the Honda S2000, coming with a 2.2 liter inline 4 that made 237 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, which is absolutely awesome to me because it's a Honda, and Honda sports cars, i.e. the Civic, has always been front wheel drive. It's one of very few front wheel drive Honda sports cars ever built. I mean rear wheel drive, my bad. Personally, I absolutely love the looks of these cars and think that besides the NSX, these are probably the best looking Hondas ever built, but that's personal opinion. Some people think they're too girly. They also only came in convertible options, so keep that in mind. If you don't really like convertibles, then you might not want to buy this because you can only have a convertible. Once again, these cars won't be going down in price anytime soon. They're not being made anymore, and there's a high demand for them. So if you want one and you have the money, now's the time to get it. Number 4 is the Mitsubishi Evo 10, coming with a 2 liter turbocharged inline 4 that made 303 horsepower, and it was Rally Art all-wheel drive, baby. Mitsubishi's all-wheel drive line has always been great. It's always battled Subaru for the top of the leaderboards there, and the Mitsubishi Evo X is no exception. They're great at doing their all-wheel drive correctly. I've always liked the Evo a little bit better than the Subaru, in my personal opinion. That's once again personal preference, so if you like the Subaru better, go with that one. But the Evos have always just looked a little bit more aggressive to me, and that's why I love them. The Evo X was the last of the timeline, and personally I think they did a good job. A lot of people, they don't. A lot of people think that all the other generations are way better than it, and I actually agree. I do like the 8 and 9s and 7s and all those generations. I like it better, but it's a pretty damn good successor in my opinion. I really wish that Mitsubishi just kept going with the car. Unfortunately, they discontinued it. Sucks. But just keep in mind that these cars are also pretty expensive to maintain since they're not being made anymore. So if you don't have a lot of extra money to spend on it, maybe not the best choice. Third place, bronze medal, my boy, podium finish, is the BMW M3 E36, coming with a 3.2 liter straight 6 that made 240 horsepower, sitting on top of a rear-wheel drive platform, of course. And now I think that many people will agree with me when I say this, that the E36 Generation 3 series of BMW has got to be the best, just the best all around. No, they're not the fastest, and the looks of them is personal preference, but I just think that they're amazing. They're the last BMW M series, at least, that was just like such a driver's car, and it was such a great car. And for their time, they performed extremely well, and they were relatively cheap for their time. They're still relatively cheap now for what they are, at least, and they look just absolutely amazing on top of that. But they actually make, for daily driving, they make for a pretty decent daily driver, and you can do it. You're not going to want to, but you can if you have the money. You also never have to worry about your car losing value, since old M3s just do nothing but skyrocket, so that's a good thing too. Second place, if you ain't first, you're last. It's the Cadillac CTS-V, coming with a 6.2 liter V8, making 556 horsepower, which is by far the most on this list. And that was the same engine that was in the Corvette of that time, which is absolutely insane to me. A Cadillac with a Corvette engine in it, how could you get any better than that? Yes, it was rear-wheel drive. Also, one thing I want to say is this is the first generation only. The second generation you will not find under 15K. This is the first generation CTS-V that you can find under 15K. I'm not a biggest fan of American cars, but I do have to say that the CTS-V has a really special place in my heart. If I were to build an American like muscle drag car style car, it would definitely be the CTS-V. I just think that the fact that it's such a baller sedan, like you're literally just like and it came in a wagon too, so if that's your style, then there you go. But yeah, if I had to choose up American car to build, it would definitely be a CTS-V. But number 1, if you have watched any of my videos before, you already knew this was coming. It's the Nissan 370Z, and the 370Z came with a 3.7 liter V6 making 330 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, of course, as is every single Z ever built. And they came in both convertible or coupe options for whatever one you'd rather have. And if you know anything about me, it's that I absolutely love the Z platform, which is why it got first on the list. Do not hate me in the comments to be like, there's no way a 350Z is better than a CTS-V. I just like them, dude. I just like that they're really cool. I think that it looks, sounds, feels amazing, and on top of that, you get pretty decent power for its price. Like, yes, it's not the highest amount of horsepower on this list, but 330 is definitely enough. And aftermarket support is absolutely huge. The different things that you can do to this car are absolutely endless. You can drift it, you can drag race it, you can street car it, you can show car it, you can off-road it, maybe, I don't know, probably not, but anything else you can do to this car. And yeah, it's not the fastest on this list, and it's not the flashiest or anything like that on the list, but to me, it's my favorite. That's why it's number one. So that is the end of this list. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to like the video. It really helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. We are at 2,330 something subscribers. We are literally growing so fast. That's awesome to me. So thank you guys so much for all the recent support I've been getting. It really means a lot to me. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you do that right now. Also guys, if you stayed this far, I'm gonna start talking about the Z now. If you don't care about the Z, you can leave now. If you do, here's an update. We are still working on the Z, trying to get the limp mode issue fixed. We're getting pretty close. I can almost taste it. It started up and revved past 2,000 the other day when we changed out battery terminals, but that wasn't the issue because it just gave it that power that it needed. The battery terminals in there were just hack frog university type of, anyway, it was bad. You do not want to see it, but I promise you guys, after we get that limp mode issue fixed, I will be making videos on that all the time. It won't take over the channel. Like I said, I'll still be doing top 10s, I'll still be doing little how-to videos and all that stuff. It won't take over the channel, but it will be, a lot of my videos are going to be centered around that. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am for that. I really want to get into drifting. Those are my plans for it. I kind of want to get into drifting, but I still want to be able to drive it and enjoy it and not have it be a full-on destroyed drift car. So I'm going to keep good care of it and all that. But yeah, just stick with me on that. If you're here for the 350Z, just stick with me and just know that it's coming. It's coming. It'll be here soon. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like I said before, if you enjoy these top 10s, we're doing these all the time, and we have a whole series going on, so we're not stopping anytime soon. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below what other videos you'd like to see, and das vidania. Have a nice day.